so Samoa Joe is the big one that people are talking about, and
Yeah.
people have kind of been speculating about should his run in WWE have been better? Should he have been champion? Should he still be wrestling? I know that you had kind of felt like when Samoa Joe was in the main roster that you'd kind of seen everything he had to offer because you'd saw all the stuff from TNA and ROH. But what did you make of it of Samoa Joe leaving, and what do you think he can do, if anything, next?
Well, he's 42 now. He hadn't wrestled in WWE since February 2020. I believe he suffered an injury, didn't he? Was it when he was filming a commercial? Is that the story that's going around?
Yeah, I think it was something to do. It was a concussion of some kind. It was something. It was like a
Yeah.
head related thing that they didn't want to clear him for.
Yeah. So he'd been at the announce desk pretty much ever since. I mean, he did well there as an announcer, but he was earning a lot more than a regular announcer. So, again, is this really a big surprise? If they're concerned about his fitness to perform, what really is the point of coming up with a long-term plan for him to return? I mean, you could say, well, he could have had a match with Roman Reigns, and that could have been quite exciting. And I agree. I think there was definitely mileage in that. I mean, he wouldn't have been the one to end Roman Reigns' title reign, but I think he could have had like a 2 pay-per-view program with him. I think that could have been quite inspiring. And
Yeah.
I think that's something that a lot of people would have enjoyed. And it could have been framed almost as the veteran coming back for one last shot at the big time and the championship that he never captured. So I think there was mileage in that, but possibly WWE was concerned about his fitness to perform and just felt, well, now is the time for him to go, and we'll give someone else a go. So I don't know. It's a funny one. I mean, you are right about me and Samoa Joe and his run in WWE. I mean, he never really. I think it was a lot. I think it was inflated expectations over what he might do, and I think that was the problem. A lot of people seem to think that he was going to be able to do more than he was really capable of, and then when he never quite hit the mark that people thought that he could reach, then that was somehow WWE's fault. And yeah, you can blame WWE for a lot of things, but I mean, we covered. Do you remember the AJ? Of course, you remember it, the AJ Styles feud that never seemed to end, and that and that those two are longtime pals. We know Styles is a real talent. Okay, some of the booking was, not really that engaging or dynamic or original. But I mean, that feud was really not that exciting. Did they have? I think they had about 4 Big Show matches, Kenny. I think that does that
Yeah,
ring a bell
I
with
think.
you?
Yeah, I think they had 4. I mean, the thing is, I actually think he should have won the title from AJ. I think that should have happened. I think that the program would have been better with that. I think he did enough to warrant getting a title run, whether it's the work with Brock or the stuff with AJ. But the thing with the AJ program was by the time they go to the 4th match and he's lost the first 3, you've kind of lost interest by that point
Yeah,
in the story. So I mean, I think I think he did enough stuff that he was an exciting enough performer to warrant being a champion. But I think that they just never saw that in him. They saw him as a guy who they can heat up and can work with AJ or Brock, but they never saw him as being someone that could be the champion. And I guess we'll never know
yeah.
if he'd have got that, would he have been able to take that and run with it, and would it have been exciting?
Mm.
We're never going to know, but I think it's interesting to ponder it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you could. They definitely only saw him as a contender, not as a champion. Otherwise, he would have become a top champion. I mean, he was pitted against enough champions, and they had ample opportunity to give him the belt. And I think, in a sense, I do agree with you about the AJ feud, and that certainly would have jazzed up that feud had Joe won the title, and then AJ could have regained it. It would have made it more interesting. And you look back and you think, well, what could have been had he become champion? Would that have given him the lift, and would that have enriched him as a character and as a performer and as a star, personally, and also enhanced his stature with the audience? You never quite know how it's going to play out.
Mm-hmm.
Does the champion make the performer, or does the title make the performer, or vice versa? and it depends on who the performer is. Um, but I mean, to me, it seems like they were leery about allowing him to wrestle again. I mean, that's got to be it in a nutshell, hasn't it? That they were
Yeah,
just
I mean,
hesitant to use him as an in-ring performer because I think there was mileage in a comeback because he hadn't wrestled for like 14 months or whatever it is, coming up 15 months now. So, but yeah, I just think and maybe they thought he was injury prone. I just thought, well, we don't really want to put him in the ring again for all these different reasons. Plus, I mean, he was making a lot of money, wasn't he, Ken? He was on a big contract.
yeah, he's on a big contract, so I think he's going to be one of the people who people are after. You know, whether you're Impact or your ROH or your AEW, you know, bringing in a Samoa Joe and doing a small selection of big matches. There's not a lot of big names out there who are on the free market, and I think that Joe would be one of those people. So hopefully he can, you know, I mean, look, Sting couldn't get cleared by WWE, but he was cleared with AEW, so we don't know the levels of the clearance.
Yeah.
Maybe he is able to get cleared.